Terry just kind of wore the poor kid down and said, "Come on, what could happen?" He said, "It's 6 o'clock at night. We can see the theater from here. Let me hop on and have a quick ride." And he did. And they'd only gone 1 block when a drunk driver ran through a stop sign, hit the motorcycle, and really changed Terry Redlin's life because he lost a leg in that accident.
Hello and welcome to the GBC. I am your host, Nash Colbert, and today we have the honor of speaking with Julie Ranum, the executive director out here at the Redlin Art Center in Watertown, South Dakota. The Redlin Art Center is a gift from the great artist Terry Redlin, and we're just so happy to dive into the history and what makes this place so special. So thank you for coming on, Julie.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to have you.
Yeah. So this place is magnificent, and you can obviously tell there was a vision, kind of in everything Terry did. So could you give us kind of a background on who Terry was?
Absolutely. So first, I just have to say that this is truly a gift. As you mentioned, when Terry started his career, of course, he never imagined a place like this. But the vision originated many years prior to that. When Terry was growing up in Watertown, he was walking to his after-school job at the movie theater when he was 15 years old, and his buddy came by on a motorcycle, and Terry flagged him down, and they chatted for a minute, and Terry kind of said, "Hey, will you give me a ride to the theater?" He said, "I'd love to go back to school tomorrow and tell all my buddies I was on a Harley Davidson." And the kid said, "Oh, I'm not really supposed to give anybody a ride, Terry." And Terry just kind of wore the poor kid down and said, "Come on, what could happen?" He said, "It's 6 o'clock at night. We can see the theater from here. Let me hop on and have a quick ride." And he did. And they'd only gone 1 block when a drunk driver ran through a stop sign, hit the motorcycle, and really changed Terry Redlin's life because he lost a leg in that accident. And during his recovery and recuperation, representatives from the state of South Dakota came to Terry and his mother and told them of a scholarship program for students with disabilities. And it was through that program in 1955, when Terry Redlin graduated from high school, that he was awarded $1,500 to continue his education. Had it not been for that scholarship, his family never would have been able to afford to send Terry to school. He decided to pursue art, thinking art would be a less physically challenging career path, and he went to school in Minnesota to the St. Paul School of Associated Arts, came out of there with a degree as a graphic artist and commercial designer, and went to work for the first 20 years of his career in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area as a commercial artist. He didn't start the career that we know and love as a wildlife and Americana artist until he was 40 years old. And that was 1977, and his career took off. In fact, so much so that by 1985, Terry's son Charles went to Terry and said, "Dad, I don't want you to sell any more of your original oil paintings," he said, "because someday I'd like to build a building to share them with the world."
Wow.
And it was during that conversation that Terry Redlin said, "Well, the only place that building should go is back home to Watertown, South Dakota, to repay my hometown and my home state for the $1,500 scholarship that made this possible."
Wow.
So this is his thank you gift.
That is incredible. What what inspired what inspires him, especially and why is the outdoors so near and dear to Terry's heart?
Ah, because he lived it. And I think for those of us who live in eastern South Dakota, we can relate so much to this art and the landscape. But Terry painted his own experiences and memories. So whether it's a wildlife scene and you see wildlife in its natural habitat, or it's a harvest scene and you see the crew out harvesting the fields, or maybe you see kids flying kites on a windy hill. All of those are Terry Redlin's personal memories. He painted what he knew. And the magic behind that is his memories are our memories too.
Right. It's evident that he cared about, the outdoors. This is on, you said, 30 acres, and it's almost a, painting scene in of itself. So it's just so cool to see that, and not only a give back this specific place to the community, but could you speak a little more to his gift to wildlife as well?
Absolutely. In those early days of his career, Terry felt very strongly about partnering with key partners in the industry. And one of the primary partners at the time was Ducks Unlimited, a conservation organization dedicated to the preservation of wetlands. Terry felt very strongly about conservation as well. And partnering with those conservation organizations enabled him to put his art in front of an audience who could relate to it. Who he really credited that partnership and relationship with launching and promoting his career.
Wow. Tell us a little bit more now about the history of this building and this 30 acres specifically.
Sure. So we opened in June of 1997. So we're just in our 27th season of operation. We have welcomed millions of people from all over the world. When Terry opened the doors in June of 1997, he wanted this place to be admission free. And we're proud to say to this day, we're still able to honor his wishes and admission is still free
How are you able to do that?
through the sale of merchandise in our gift shop. So we have two beautiful gift shops right here on location. And everything you see here, you can also find in our online presence at redlinart.com. 100% of the proceeds generated through merchandise sold here and online go right back into the operation of the Art Center. So we are 100% self funded. We are a nonprofit foundation, so every penny goes right back in to the operation. Of course, the Redlin family made sure that there was money here as well, so their gift continues to help support the ongoing operation of our facility.
That is incredible. It's hard to get such a cool experience, especially for free. So that is just incredible. What can visitors expect when they come here? And one question that popped in my mind was, how many people do you guys see annually?
We average about 150,000 visitors a year. It's kind of hard for us to get a real firm count because admission is free. So we don't track from attendance, sales or anything like that. Our goal is just to attract new people all the time. And we also love repeat visitors. We always say if someone returns for a second, third, fourth, or 100th visit,
Mhm.
that's the greatest compliment they can pay us is to come back. So when visitors come to the Redlin Art Center, 170 of Terry Redlin's original oil paintings are here for them to see, which I just think is kind of an overwhelming number. And every original is magnificent. Every original tells a story. And 3 floors of gallery to explore, 2 beautiful gift shops. We have a theater and we feature video presentations about Terry Redlin and the different collections in his art that he was so really proud to share.
Yeah. What is it, do you think, about the art that so many people love and why it resonates with them so well?
That's a great question. For me, there's a tranquility here, there's a peace here. And when I look into these paintings, I wish I could step right in. He invites us to go back. He invites us to reminisce about the experiences we've had and the people we've known and the special, special memories we share. I think that's the magic. He somehow, and I can't explain it, it's his gift. He somehow connects with us through the art. I don't know if he realized the power he had, but it is, for many people, it's an emotional experience to come in the gallery and walk through and connect with the paintings. Maybe it's because it brings them back to a certain place and time, or it reminds them of a certain person in their life that maybe is not with them anymore. But it's also a joyous place where people come to gather. This is such a meeting place. People travel from great distances, and this is where they choose to meet.
Right.
And then they spend their time here enjoying each other and the art.
Right. This was a gift, to Watertown. You knew Terry. You've been here since the beginning. Um, why is it so special? And it's how do I want to ask that? Let me think. I just want to touch on like why it's so special to Watertown and like how much it impacts, um, the entire town. Tourism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
Christ.
when we were preparing to open the art center, I had a wonderful opportunity to have a conversation with Terry. And he said, Julie, I just hope it doesn't look boastful. He said, I'm not doing this for my own gain. He said, I hope if my name can attract people to my hometown and it encourage them to come and spend the night and shop and buy gas and eat in our restaurants, if my name can help the economy in Watertown, I want to do it.
Why is this so special to Watertown?
I'm really passionate about being here in this place. I had the privilege of working directly for Terry Redlin and knowing the man behind the art and knowing what a humble, kind spirit he was, and that none of this was for him.
Right.
It was all for a town he loved. He said his childhood here in Watertown was idyllic. His word, not mine. He said, we didn't have any money. It didn't matter. He said, we had people around us that loved us, watched out for us. He said, I could hunt and fish and play and ride my bike, and I felt safe. And he said, what more could a child want?
Right. And I think a cool thing about Watertown too is that's still possible. I know people who are moving here, going to college, who come to Watertown because of the outdoor, that peace, that experience that is very hard to find. So that's
Absolutely. Absolutely.